Hey guys, James here, and today I'm bringing you some Insurgency footage. Insurgency is a hardcore or tactical shooter. It's a very realistic game. Guns will kill you very quickly in 1 or 2 shots. Even if you put a grip on a gun, it'll still have a lot of recoil, and even with a silencer you can still hear when someone's shooting, although it is muffled, and it is harder to tell where they are shooting from, both of which are more realistic. There's very little in terms of an overlay or notifications. It's not going to tell you when you kill someone or when someone's firing at you. You have to sort of figure all these things out for yourself. And one thing you definitely have to be wary of is friendly fire. Insurgency runs on the Source engine, and I believe it actually started as a mod for the Source engine and then was eventually released as a standalone version. And I'm not sure if it's technically in some sort of beta or testing phase, but it seems as if the game is constantly improving and adding new features. And from what I've heard, they will be continually trying to do this and update the graphics and other aesthetic elements as well. So as you can see now from this gameplay, the graphics aren't great. They're definitely not like a next-gen looker or anything like that. But if they're able to keep improving the textures, who knows how great this game could look in a year. Now, normally I'm not that into hardcore shooters. When I play Battlefield or Call of Duty, I don't really like the hardcore modes of those as much. It just doesn't feel right. The slowness of the hardcore mode doesn't really suit those Twitch shooters very well. And if you play another hardcore shooter, a game like Arma, there's a much steeper learning curve, and some of the mechanics are very specific to that game, and there are so many little nuances that you need to know that are really only going to help you in that one game. Insurgency is a game that is designed to be slow-paced. It's a hardcore shooter, Everything about it, unlike Twitch shooters, is made for you to carefully advance and use tactics and teamwork to take out your enemies. So obviously the hardcore elements fit perfectly with that. And as for a learning curve, the biggest one in this game is map knowledge. Knowing where opponents like to go and knowing how to flank them is what separates the good players from the bad players. It isn't like in other games where you need to know intricate details of the game mechanics. The gunplay in Insurgency is fairly generic, and after you've played a few games and fired off some rounds, you'll pretty easily get used to what you can and can't get away with as far as gunplay is concerned. There are no special guns, attachments, perks, or equipment that give experienced players an advantage over new players. Their experience is their advantage. And another thing I love about Insurgency is the class system that it employs. For a start, I love that the insurgents and the counterinsurgents, I believe they're called security or something like that, both teams use different weapons. It's something other games like Battlefield 3 tried this, but most have failed due to poor gun balance. In a game where you can die in one shot, I think it's a lot easier to balance weapons, and so that's a big reason why it works in this game. The even more impressive feature is the amount of loadout options based on which soldier role you pick. Each one comes with a sort of a recommended setup, but you have a few options as far as guns and equipment go. You can fully customize your guns with attachments. And all of this customization is based on a system of supply points. You have a limited amount of supply points, so if, say, you want your gun to be fully decked out with a scope, a silencer, a grip, all these things, you're not going to have as many points to spend on equipment. So all of this customization balances out very nicely. I'm sure at this point of the video I sound like I'm basically in love with this game, and while I have thoroughly enjoyed my time playing this, there are still a couple issues that I have with it. The biggest thing to me is that, for all the realism in the game, it's incredibly easy to jump shot enemies. This is a tactic that's often used in Call of Duty. I use it a lot myself, but yet it works surprisingly well in this more realistic game. I've probably done it once or twice in the gameplay I'm showing here. It's just really too easy. Now I would guess that your accuracy is greatly decreased while firing on the move and jumping around a corner like this, but when you need only a bullet or two to take down an enemy, that decrease doesn't mean as much. To fix this, I think the best option might actually just be to not allow you to fire your weapon while you're jumping. I think this goes along great with the realistic features of the game, because I seriously doubt that you would ever see a soldier jump around a corner firing their M16. That's just not something that's going to happen. My other complaint is that it's very difficult to distinguish between enemies and teammates. Now there is an indicator that'll sort of pop up over your teammates at certain distances, but that marker popping up seems to be inconsistent to me. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, so it can lead to a lot of, embarrassing team kills. You just shoot a guy who's clearly a teammate to your teammates that are around you, but, you didn't see him as a teammate. And aside from these two complaints, pretty much anything else negative I have to say about this game is very petty. I've rarely come away from lost gunfights thinking that I should have won it. More often than not, I come away frustrated that I rushed into action too quickly or otherwise played the situation poorly. I would definitely recommend buying Insurgency. It's only $14.99 on Steam. If you're a fan fan of first-person shooters, I think you might really find this to be an exhilarating change of pace from most AAA titles. But if you are someone who's constantly complaining about, camping, or always thinks the other team is doing something to play cheap, this might not be the game for you, because, it is very slow, and you have to be very deliberate with your actions and your plan of attack. But I do think that a lot of people that are fans of the Twitch first-person shooters will really like this game. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about the game. I'd be more than happy to answer them in the comments below. And if this is a type of game that would be interesting to you, hopefully I've given you enough in this video to persuade you to try this game. And if not, well, I've got more coming. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video, and have a nice day.